Hi students, I am Dr. Bhavana. In this lecture we are going to start about the sensory receptors and its processing. In the neural control and coordination, we already have completed what is brain and different parts of the brain. We have dealt about forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain and all the types. We are left over with these sensory receptors and its processing. So mainly before we go into sensory receptors in processing, first initially how do you sense the different changes in the environment? Sometimes in cold climate you feel very cold, or in hot climate you feel very hot in summer. How you are able to sense the different changes? And if you see any objects, how you are able to identify which color it belongs to? This all is through nothing but the sensory receptors which are present in our body. They sense the different changes in the environment and they help in they send numerous signals to the brain, and we will be able to identify how you are able to see what colors and how these all we will see in this topic. So first, what are the normal sensory receptors that are present in our body? Main sensory receptors that are present are eyes, ears, as well as you see nose, tongue. Because in your NEET textbook mainly they have given about the eyes as well as ears. Nose and tongue only very 1 or 2 points they have given. Rest all they have given eyes and ears. We will deal for your inter knowledge, only this much is enough, like about eye and ears. Nose and tongue they have given 1 or 2 points. We will discuss about that. So mainly nose. Nose first contain the receptors which are nothing but olfactory receptors. Olfactory receptors. Olfactory receptors are present in our nose. When it comes to tongue, there should be some receptors that are present. See, suppose when you consume so much of food, how you are able to identify whether it is tasty or not? Because of taste buds which are present in the tongue. So taste buds are present in the tongue. When it comes to the tongue, mainly the receptors which are present, that is from outside environment we are consuming a lot of food. So from that, so through taste buds, the receptors which capture all the food particles is nothing but gustatory receptors. Gustatory receptors. These receptors, they sense the taste as well as they transmit to different parts of the brain. So these gustatory receptors are nothing but these sensory receptors for the tongue. When it comes to nose, in the nose mainly olfactory receptors are present. From the olfactory receptors, whatever the smell, everything is through these olfactory receptors. We can sense the smell from the outside environment. So these olfactory receptors, they are mucus coated receptors. They will have some mucus that is present on them. So they are able to destroy all the foreign particles which enter our nose. So through olfactory receptors are mucus coated. All the foreign particles which enter through our nose, they all are cleared away in these olfactory receptors. How they are cleared? By this mucus coated only they are able to clear the different particles. Next, through olfactory receptors, they are transmitted to olfactory bulbs. Olfactory bulbs. What are these olfactory bulbs? Are nothing but they are bean-shaped organs. Bean-shaped. Like bean-shaped organs. And these olfactory bulbs, they in turn transmit the signals to the brain. To the brain they transmit numerous signals. So like this for nose, what are the sensory important NEET question? They'll ask you, what are the olfactory, what are the receptors that are present for the nose? Means They are olfactory receptors. What are the receptors that are associated with the tongue? Gustatory receptors. Here names are very important, like olfactory receptors as well as gustatory receptors. Names are very important here. So they'll ask you in NEET based on this. Related to nose, what are the receptors? They'll give you options as olfactory receptors, gustatory receptors, and they'll give you some other A and B like that. You should choose olfactory for nose. These all are little complicated terms because you're hearing for the first time, you all belong to the first year. So these all are somewhat complicated for you, but by practice 1 or 2 times you can easily get through this. So this is olfactory as well as gustatory. Here only 2 points to be remembered, that are olfactory receptors that are associated with the nose. Then for the tongue it is nothing but gustatory receptors that are present. So taste buds are also associated with the tongue. So these are the main 4 sensory receptors that are associated with our human body. Next we are going to see in detail about the eye as well as ear. So when it comes to eye, first eyes, there are 2 eyes and they are situated in sockets called as orbits. They are situated in sockets called as orbits. Eyes are situated in sockets called as orbits. I am repeating for you so that you can easily note down for the class and come for the next class very easily. As well as the sensory receptors about eye, numerous NEET questions are asked. Last year, every alternative year, they'll ask you numerous NEET questions based on this. Because about ear and eye, these are 2 important sensory organs. Numerous questions are asked very frequently. Every alternative year they'll ask about sclera, about cornea and all. Now we will deal in detail about that. So first point to remember about eye is they are situated in sockets called as orbits. The first thing. Next, there are mainly 3 layers that are associated with the eyes. 3 layers. The first layer, the outermost layer of the eye. Eye means I am giving you a rough picture about eye. Like outermost layer which is covered by dense connective tissue. That is nothing but sclera. Sclera. The secondmost layer means the middle layer which is present. Sclera is outermost layer. When it comes to the middle layer that is present, the middle layer is called as choroid layer. Choroid layer. The third innermost layer that is called as retina. In all the 10th class and all 9th class, you all have read about retina. Mainly when it comes to eye, you have read about mainly retina. But there are also outside 2 layers. First one is outermost is sclera. Middle layer is called as choroid. The innermost layer that is present, that is called as retina. That is innermost layer. So sclera, choroid as well as retina. You should remember it in a sequence because now I will tell you how to these are extensions I will give you because these are all covering the outermost layer. So I will give you, so you should remember in an order. What is the outermost layer? Outermost layer is sclera, middle layer is choroid, innermost layer is retina. I will depict you in a diagram how you can easily remember. So I told you the outermost layer is sclera. Suppose this is an eye. This is a cross section of the eye. And this is called as sclera, the outermost layer that is present. For the eye, it is called as sclera. Just now we have discussed the outermost layer is sclera. For sclera, this is thin structure actually, very thin it will be. So it has again in the this fully posterior side. There are two sides. First one that is visible is called as anterior side. Back side that is present, it is called as posterior side. So this is posterior side, remember. And this full is anterior side. So this sclera, it continues outside as a dense tissue, as a dense connective tissue that is nothing but cornea. So sclera is continuing anteriorly as cornea. Next, so this is the first outermost layer. Sclera, which is very thin structure, is continuing as cornea, which is a very thick structure, thin as well as thick. So sclera is continuing as cornea. Next, when it comes, the middle layer which we have discussed is nothing but choroid. See, choroid. This choroid also, second layer which is present, this is also very thin structure that is present. So this thin structure is again continuing anteriorly as a thick structure that is nothing but ciliary body. Ciliary body. All are these scientific terms, read twice so that you can easily remember. First one is sclera, simple, no need to get so much confused about this. See, outermost layer is nothing but sclera, which we have already discussed. It is continuing anteriorly as a thick structure that is nothing but cornea. So sclera, cornea. Next, when it comes, the second-most layer is nothing but choroid. So this choroid is again continuing in the middle as ciliary body. Again here it is continuing as thick structure. Choroid is thin, sclera is thin. Anteriorly which are coming outside, they are nothing but thick structures. So they are continuing as ciliary body. Next, here now important question will come out for you. See, next the thing is iris. We are going to see about the iris. Iris is nothing but pigmented as well as opaque structure. Pigmented and opaque means what? It is highly pigmented structure. Like how for few people it is you will have brown color. Pupils may vary in color. This all is due to this iris only. These iris only will support your few people will use different types of lenses which are present. You will use for some parties like that blue color lens, or this all is supported by a muzzle-like structure that is nothing but iris. And this is pigmented and opaque shaped structure. This will not allow light to pass. Opaque means what? It will not allow any light to pass through it. So iris is highly pigmented and opaque structure. Important neat question that comes for you is iris is pigmented as well as opaque structure. Which is the pigmented structure in the eye? They'll give you lens, choroid, or some sclera. They'll give you options. So you should choose iris is pigmented as well as opaque structure that is present. So pigmented as well as opaque structure is iris. And this is a muzzle shaped structure. Means it will have numerous muscles that are present. See, this ciliary body is continuing as iris. Here the muzzle shaped structure that is present is nothing but it is called as iris. And this iris, what it will do? It will help in this lens. Here lens is present actually. It will help in support of the lens. The lens is supported by a muzzle shaped structure that is nothing but iris. So this lens only, here only you will put the lens of different colors. This lens is supported by a muzzle shaped structure that is nothing but called as iris. So here there is iris that is present. This is called as lens that is present. And lens forward. Here there is a one small aperture that is present. That is nothing but it is called as pupil. By pupil only you all can see, as well as numerous light, everything will pass through this pupil only. A small aperture that is present in front of the lens, as well as this pupil is also supported by a structure called as lens, called as iris. It is supported by lens. Then in front of the lens there is a small aperture that is present called as pupil. So this is about the rough structure of the eye. So don't get confused about all this. Mainly we have discussed till now what points we have discussed. We will see once again. Outermost layer is sclera. Then sclera is continuing anteriorly as cornea. Sclera, cornea. These two only, the white color structure that is present, which is visible for our eyes, all the white color structure is nothing but the sclera only that is present. All now you should use the technical terms that are related to the eyes. So sclera is present. It is continuing anteriorly as cornea. Next, the secondmost layer, it is called as choroid. This choroid is continuing anteriorly as ciliary body. Secondmost layer, two C's are present. You can remember like that. Choroid, ciliary body. It is continuing. First one sclera, cornea. Second one choroid as well as ciliary body. This ciliary body, again it will have a muscle shaped muscle structure that is nothing but iris. Iris is pigmented as well as opaque structure that is present. So pigmented and opaque. This iris will support lens as well as pupil. Where is pupil present? Pupil is present in front of the lens. And this lens is supported by iris. So this is about the pupil, iris, ciliary body, lens. You should come in an order in which I have told you, so that you can easily remember all these things related to that. So this is about that. And next, the thirdmost layer we are left out with. The innermost layer is called as retina that is present. The innermost layer, that is very thin structure where all our rods, cones, everything are present. This is called as retina. So this is the innermost layer where all the photoreceptor cells, everything are you see carried out through this retina itself. So three layers we have completed: sclera, choroid, retina, from outside to inside. Then we have seen their continuations into the front. Sclera is continuing as cornea, then choroid is continuing as ciliary body, as well as lens. Lens is supported by iris, a muscle structure, as well as it is pigmented, as well as it is opaque in structure. In front of the lens there is an small aperture that is present, that is nothing but pupil that is present. So in between the cornea as well as this lens, here some space is present. So what is the space that is present? It is nothing but aqueous humor. There is a clear fluid space that is present between this cornea, the first layer, as well as lens. There is a, it is called as aqueous humor. And the middle structure which is present, that is between the lens as well as the retina, that is present, it is called as vitreous humor. Aqueous humor as well as vitreous humor. There is no difference between aqueous humor as well as vitreous humor. Both are clear fluid spaces that are present, and in between this aqueous humor as well as vitreous humor that is present, only one main difference is this is present in between the cornea as well as lens. The other one that is present is in between the lens as well as retina. Aqueous humor in the front, vitreous humor in the back side. So this is about the eye. We have discussed that they are present, eyes are present in sockets. Those are called as orbits. And we have discussed about sclera, cornea, aqueous humor, vitreous humor, iris, pigmented, important neat question related to this. Then the innermost layer is retina. So we will deal in detail now about retina, because retina is only most important for you. Retina, numerous neat questions are asked based on the retina. So mainly in the retina, there are three types of cells that are present. Three types are present. Those are nothing but ganglion cells. Next, photoreceptor cells, as well as bipolar cells. So, ganglion cells, photoreceptor cells, as well as bipolar cells. These are the three types of cells that are present in the retina. So, ganglion cells, these are the outermost cells, as well as bipolar cells, these are the middle layer. First layer is ganglion, middle layer is bipolar cells. When it comes to photoreceptor cells that is present, you all have learnt in the lower classes about the rods as well as cones. So where are these rods and cones present? So these rods as well as cones, they are present in cells known as photoreceptor cells. So what is the use of these rods and cones? So these rods and cones mainly, they help in, these rods will help in twilight vision, twilight, as well as cones, they help in daylight vision, daylight. This is means rods, they are mostly present, you can see the in night vision, they help in night vision mainly. Cones, they help in daylight vision. So this is the main difference between the rods and cones. Both are the photoreceptor cells only that are present in retina, but one help in daylight vision, one help in night vision, rods as well as cones. So these are the three different types, those of the cells that are present in retina. As well as when we go deep into the retina, there are one spot that is present. That is nothing but, see, before we have already seen this eye diagram, just now I have drawn 2 minutes back about this diagram. So see, the innermost layer is retina, we have discussed. So retina, mainly they here one small thin layer of retina is present. See, retina everywhere it is very thick, that is present, but only here at one layer it is very thin. This is nothing but retina will become very thin near a spot that is called as fovea spot. Fovea spot. So near this fovea spot, the retina will become very thin shaped structure. What is the use of this fovea spot is nothing but here mostly so many cones are present. It is yellow colored spot. Here the yellow colored spot, as well as here photoreceptor cells, all are present here, but here visual activity is more. Visual activity is more. All the things which will enter our through the mechanism of vision. Whatever light which enters, everything will be captured here. Most of the visual activity, means most of the visual, whatever, how we can see, maximum what we can see is through this visual activity and through this fovea spot itself only. And it is mostly asked NEET question is about fovea spot is the retina will become very thin at a point that is called as, they'll give you different options related to that. That is nothing but fovea spot where it is present, and it is yellow colored spot that is present where visual activity is highest. So one is about fovea spot. The second thing you should remember about the retina is here there is a another spot that is called as blind spot that is present. So in the blind spot, mainly what is present is, in the blind spot here everything is absent, that is photoreceptor cells are absent, rods as well as cones both are absent in this blind spot. Rods and cones both are absent. So that's why where it is all the rods and cones are absent in the retina is nothing but, that's why blind spot, it is called as blind spot. So two things we have learnt about retina. The first one is here it is very thin structure, that is nothing but it is yellow colored structure where the retina becomes very thin, that is called as fovea spot, or else we call as macula lutea. Macula lutea. This is yellow colored in structure, yellow colored. When it comes to the blind spot that is present here, rods as well as cones both are absent here in this blind spot. 2 points about retina, fovea spot as well as blind spot. In these both, in one it is thin, retina becomes thin. In the second one it is rods as well as cones both are absent. So that's why it is called as blind spot. Blind, you can, by name only you can understand, like blind spot means both rods as well as cones are absent. You can't see from there. That's why it is called as blind spot. So this is about the blind spot. We have discussed fovea spot as well as blind spot. So next, when we see the main things, optic nerves as well as retinal blood vessels, they play a very important role. Optic nerve. Here one nerve is present, that is nothing but optic nerve. This optic nerve only, it will leave the eye, means from the eye this optic nerve, it will transmit signals to the brain. That's why only you are able to see, or you can see as well as you are able to identify which color, which structure and all you are able to identify by this optic nerve itself. This optic nerve helps in transmission of signals from the eyes to the central nervous system, that is brain. From to the CNS from the eyes. Optic nerves help in transmission. Optic nerve. So that is about the optic nerve. And how the blood is supplied to the eye. The blood is supplied to the eye by blood vessels called as retinal blood vessels. By retinal blood vessels. By retinal blood vessels only you are able to, like how the blood is from different organs, it is transported to the eye. All the blood is required for the eye to survive. So if you get damaged, the retinal blood vessels are damaged, you may temporarily become blind. So that's why retinal blood vessels also play a very important role. So this is about the retinal blood vessels as well as optic nerve. So in the next session, we will discuss about the mechanism of vision. How you are able to see from different parts of the eye, how the light is transmitted and how it reaches the brain. So mechanism of vision we are going to see. So today what we have discussed is mainly the structure of eye. First of all, we have started with what are the sensory receptors that are associated with our human body. Mainly eyes, ears, nose, tongue, everything. So nose and tongue, not in detail I have given about the NEET. In NEET as well as numerous questions are not asked based on this. So basically about nose you have to remember only olfactory receptors as well as olfactory bulbs. When it comes to taste, that is tongue, taste buds are present as well as gustatory receptors are associated with it. Then we have seen about in detail about eye. The outermost layer is sclera, middle layer choroid, innermost layer retina. Simple, three different layers you have to remember. Then their anterior continuation you have to remember. That is from sclera it is continuing as cornea, from the choroid through ciliary body. Names are important here basically. So ciliary body it is continuing. Next we have seen about the what is aqueous humor, from cornea into the lens, aqueous humor. Then next full is vitreous humor. What is aqueous humor and vitreous humor is nothing but numerous fluid filled spaces that are present. Next we have seen about in detail about iris. We have seen it is pigmented opaque structure. This iris will support the lens. In front of the lens there is a small aperture that is present, that is nothing but a pupil which is present. So that we have discussed. Next in detail about retina we have discussed. There are three types of cells that are present: ganglion cells, bipolar cells, photoreceptor cells. Photoreceptor cells are very important because rods and cones are present in that. They only help in night vision as well as daylight vision. So we have seen about that. Next we have started about the what is the fovea spot as well as blind spot. Fovea spot is nothing but yellow colored spot where visual activity is highest there. When it comes to blind spot, simple to remember is only rods and cones are absent here. So this is about that. And what is the nerve which transmits signals from the eyes to the brain? That is nothing but optic nerve that is present. Like that for nose also olfactory nerve is present. The different types of nerves you will deal in detail in MBBS. What are the different types of nerves that are present? For now you remember in eyes what are the main nerves that are associated is nothing but optic nerve. Then when it comes to nose, it is olfactory nerve. Olfactory, anything that is related to olfactory, nose. Anything that is related to eyes means retinal as well as optic. Everything will come under eyes. So optic nerves, they transmit signals to the brain. And how the blood supply to the eye is taking place is through retinal blood vessels. So full brief idea I have given about all this. Next we will see in the next class about the mechanism of vision, how the light is transmitted through different structures, how it is transmitted we are going to see, as well as we will see about the ear. Okay.